What is your message to the President of the United States? We'll start with Christy.
I would like to know why the red flags were ignored. The descent cables, the sniper requests, the air support requests. I think it's to have transparency in all of it is really important to me.
Darren?
For me, I want them all to be grown men like our son was. Come forward, admit those mistakes, rectify the problem. We owe it to our sons and daughters that will come up through the military to know that their leadership has their back. This cannot and should not happen ever again.
Thank you. Kelly?
As my son, I want the president to do the next right thing. I want him to admit what he did, what he ignored. I want him to say their names, and I want this to never happen again.
Thank you. Paula?
I, too, want accountability from the executive office. I would also like to say that anyone that is running for office right now, make sure that they never make the same mistakes that this current office has made. Americans expect accountability, honesty, and to be able to trust our leaders to do exactly what they are told to do by the people. And that's what we expect on this next administration.
That's excellent. Herman?
I personally will pose a challenge to the president. I think our children, our sons and daughters, had more courage in their little fingers than this man has shown while he's been in office. So my challenge is tell the truth, all the truth to all of us, or get out of the way.
Alicia?
As mother to Hunter and mother to a current son who is serving in the Army, I request accountability, and I request for this not to happen again, because God forbid, without the planning and plans in place, that I receive another knock on my door for a mistake that they have already caused.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, I would like all other evacuations of this type to be held from the Defense Department instead of the State Department and the White House. And I don't think we could change. To be honest with you, I think they had to do it again. They do it the exact same way. I don't think we've changed or we would change their chain of thoughts. But I would reiterate that, you know, they need to have 13 of these pictures in the Rose Garden at the White House and be honored by this administration. Period. Thank you.
I agree. Greg?
Acknowledge what happened that day. We have a lot of mentally, physically wounded servicemen and women that need support that we're not getting because we haven't acknowledged that day. We need to acknowledge that. The second part is say their names. They've earned it.
Thank you. Coral?
I don't think a Gold Star parent needs to be sitting in this seat and ask for answers. Since the beginning, they should not lie to us. We deserve to know the truth and not ask for the truth. And I want to hear Biden saying our kids' names. And I always said our kids because they were our kids.
Yeah. They were. Mark?
As Darren mentioned, I would love to see the president man up admit this was a more political move on his part than it was military. This is not a game. It's cost our kids their lives. It changed 13 families and a nation of veterans forever. And if he's honest with himself and he feels he can't do this job, because we have active military in place right now that scares the crap out of me for those guys to be under this leadership. If he can't be a leader, step aside and let somebody else do it.
Thank you. Jacqueline?
Again, as I had mentioned, I would ask him to, accept accountability and help those other veterans that we are close to that are really struggling or who have already taken their lives because of what happened. We don't need any more of that. And he needs to own up and acknowledge exactly what happened.
Thank you. And I know the nation's watching. I know the administration's watching. And I know the president will hear your voices. And I hope that he does respond to each of you because you deserve it after everything you've been through over the past 2 years.